talking about the big asses on linemen. I'm like, well, you passed on a lot of guys in the draft who would have helped you, but whatever.
But on that note, the reason why I gave the drop is because I wanted to reset and get to some housekeeping that we've had over the past couple of weeks. We have had a lot of polls. So shout out to everyone who's been voting in the polls. I think so far our biggest poll was the Calvin Johnson one. We got over 115 votes on that one. So shout out to everyone who thinks Calvin Johnson should get paid, because obviously he should get his milli.
Pay that man.
And the Keith Brooking one was actually people said Keith Brooking was better on Twitter, but on Instagram they said Keith Bullock was better.
Couldn't bring yourself to say it, could you? Because you know Bullock is better suited for today's NFL.
Yeah, there's a presidential candidate with the last name Bullock.
Yeah.
I swear to God, Mancini, I will rip shot you right now.
So that's a wash.
You wait your turn.
Oh.
And then we also had the topic that Kenny and I have literally been debating for
that
decades.
That's why that's what I'm really angry at you about.
For literally a decade.
I wanted to cause physical harm to you today.
Reggie Bush versus Darren McFadden. Not who has a better career, not who was better in college, but who was the bigger bust.
Sounds like you're adding extras, but, you know.
I just have to clarify and make sure the statement is clear. So far, I believe when I last checked, Darren McFadden was the bigger bust on Instagram, but Reggie Bush was the bigger bust on Twitter, which is actually weird how those polls are always opposite on our two social media accounts. I don't know. There's something there. We got to figure it out. But the point is, I think overall, though, Darren McFadden did have more votes, like overall.
He's the bigger bust. Because he was the better running back.
In college?
No, the better pro. He translated to the NFL better as a running back than Reggie Bush. Darren McFadden wasn't a wide receiver. He was a pure running back who you could give the ball 30 times to, 40 times to a game. No one's giving Reggie Bush the ball 45
times.
Darren
McFadden never had the ball more than 30 times.
In college?
No, because he played with Felix Jones for 2 years.
And Peyton Hillis, but that still doesn't change the fact that he got the ball a lot and he was the main focus.
The point is, Reggie was supposed to be. My argument was Reggie was supposed to be the greatest of all time.
That's the West Coast USC hype machine.
He failed.
Lindo White was great too.
Your point is, Darren McFadden was supposed to be pro ready, can't miss, and was always hurt.
Imagine Tony Dorsett.
But yeah, so that's
Less
pretty
agility.
much a wash.
It's not a wash. Reggie Bush's skill set translated to the NFL better, but he was ahead of his time. Alvin Kamara does nothing different than what Reggie Bush did, except Reggie actually returned punts and kicks.
And
Christian McCaffrey. If you put Reggie Bush in today's NFL, he's not a bust. He's damn near an all-pro.
And the other topic that you brought up, Warrick Dunn versus DeAngelo Williams, two NFC South great running backs. Warrick Dunn making a name for himself.
Let's go.
Both with the Falcons and both with the Buccaneers. And DeAngelo Williams making a name for himself, mostly with the Carolina Panthers.
And had one great season with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
So, I'm just curious, like, what prompted that in your head? Because that was random as fuck to me.
Because they're both 5'9". I think of little running backs and, like, who are good. And, yeah.
Honestly, I think it's more of preference because, like, when I think of it's kind of like what you're saying with
They're both great players.
It's kind of like what you're saying with Reggie Bush and McFadden, because I feel like
didn't score a lot of touchdowns and was never a goal line back.
No, but I feel like he was more of an in between the tackles kind of. No, I feel like DeAngelo was more multi-purpose than Warrick Dunn was.
But I mean, I look at it and people were. I think Sean Thomas said it in the comments or whatever. But he was like, "Well, Warrick Dunn played with Michael Vick, and Michael Vick didn't have. He only had 36 career rushing touchdowns. Cam Newton had more than that in the first three.
Warrick Dunn also played with T.J. Duckett, who took a lot of his
Michael
touchdowns.
Turner. But I'm saying he wasn't a. They tried putting him in the goal line. He was not a goal line running back. And even when he went to
Williams played with John Stewart for basically most of his career,
Nick
except for 2
Goings,
years.
Stephen Davis,
Yep.
John, and then they switched the offense.
Deshaun Foster.
That was the tail end though.
I think that was his first. That was his first 2 years though, and then he had John Stewart.
And then you also got to remember Nick Goings. You also have to remember Christian McCaffrey came in and took all his carries. Cam Newton, they tried to build the offense.
Nah, he was gone after once Christian McCaffrey came.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying they geared the offense around Cam, and then they had Greg Olsen had like 3 or 4 1,000.
But I think that one was also split between Twitter and Instagram as well.
But a lot of people were giving really good reasons, like
for Warrick Dunn.
Warrick Dunn is a Hall of Fame.
Comments.
I think Warrick Dunn's a Hall of Fame back, but I think DeAngelo Williams was a better player. I
don't know if Warrick Dunn is a Hall of Famer. There's a lot of running backs over him. I put Ricky Williams in over him. I put Edgerrin James over him.
Edgerrin James or Ricky Williams. That might be the next one.
But yeah,
is Marshawn a Hall of Famer over Warrick Dunn?
Yes.
Okay. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, there are certain running backs in certain areas, and you look at it. Warrick Dunn's best season, he had 1,400 yards rushing. There's one season where he had no rushing touchdowns and over 1,000 yards. How does that even happen? And Michael Vick, like, you look at DeAngelo Williams, he had 2 seasons, at least 3, with 10 rushing touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. One season, his best season, his third year in the league, 1,500 rushing yards, 18 touchdowns, and yet he has more multi-purpose yardage than Warrick Dunn. More touchdowns.
The only reason why like this poll is really hard is because they played in 2 different eras.
One played at the tail end of the other era.
Yeah, but it's
and you also
it's
have
different. It's hard.
It's different.
Yeah,
it is different. But it's like I look at DeAngelo Williams and he only had like 8,000 yards rushing. But look at all the people who stole yards and touchdowns from him.
Even when
Cam stole touchdowns from him.
Think about when Warrick Dunn played, like the importance
that
of
Falcons offense was trash passing wise.
Yeah, but the Falcons were like one of
team.
three or four teams that ran zone blocking schemes. Now everybody runs zone blocking schemes. So it's like it was a different time.
DeAngelo Williams
that's what I'm
good
saying.
Back regardless, though.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying is it was a different time. So now you put Warrick Dunn in against defenses that have more experience against a zone defense.
And I think he's Marlon Mack.
I don't know if he's as good.
I think he's Marlon Mack.
All right.
Barely gets 1,000 yards.
The other, well, not really poll. I guess you could say open-ended question you posed this week. Who is the greatest backup QB
of all time?
So obviously there's a lot of questions because it's like, okay, are we talking career backup? Are we talking like Seneca Wallace, Marquise Toyasosopa, Charlie Whitehurst? Are we talking about guys who started as backups? Like you brought up Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady. You brought up who else? Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady. Somebody else you mentioned who started as a backup.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Or are we talking about guys who were like backups and then thrusted into like random starting spots, like let's say Nick Foles or Brad Johnson or Trent Dilfer?
Or someone who was a backup QB and just finessed the hell out of it. Like, by the way, Tony Romo was a backup. Matt Flynn was my pick. Who got more money with less talent and ability? Holy shit.
Charlie Whitehurst?
No.
Charlie Whitehurst was still playing until like last year.
Yeah, but
Dan Orlowski?
He's just a nice guy. Billy Volek was really nice though, so I can't call him. Like, if you really had like just a backups, cats who would never be starters, but in their role on their team.
Charlie Blatch?
Charlie Batch was never played. He just never played. But he was a starter with
Tony
the Lions.
Banks?
Tony Banks.
I just wanted to bring Tony Banks.
You just
up.
love bringing up Tony
Banks.
Banks.
Do.
I
really do.
It's like coming to America. You just want everybody. That's when somebody talk about boxing. Somebody got to pull Rocky Marciano out their ass. You just got to pull Tony Banks. I don't know. That man was
the 76 starting quarterback.
Being light.
Like, how does he keep starting?
It's like the DJ Shock.
Antone Wright.
Wow. That was a nasty one.
Yeah.
89 throw power, 76 accuracy. Ugh.
All right. So.
But nah, like, that. Is that even something we can answer?
No, it's really impossible.
Because I don't.
There's just so many people who've gotten bags.
Because I'm not going to say the best backup to become a starter. That would probably be Tom Brady. Steve Young was a backup.
But he didn't start as a backup.
Yeah, that's true. But he became a backup. And that's the thing. You got to look at guys like Ryan Fitzpatrick, who was undrafted, came from Harvard, all that. And then you look at a guy like Matt Flynn, who just stole money his whole career.
But yeah, man, on that note, so before we get to, let's talk about it, I want to open up the floor. Since, somebody really wanted to open floor earlier. So, Mancini.
The floor is open, sir. And
the floor is open, sir. What would you like to talk about?
Go ahead and get in pocket.
Well, what? Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Are we going
burning
into
airtime now?
Yeah, I'm.
You're burning minutes.
On the feet.
I'll answer the question if it kills me. Are we talking?
The floor is
the
open.
Show already, or are we
floor is
on
open. We have not gotten into the show. Go ahead. This is an open floor.
So in a couple of weeks, I believe it's on June 26th and 27th. You've got the first Democratic debates of the 2020 presidential election.
And why are these important, Mancini?
Very important.
Touchdowns and tangents correspondent.
These are very important because these are basically the debates that'll determine who will be the opponent to go up against Donald Trump in November 2020. And right now you have, of the 23 candidates that are running, there are about 20 that are qualified to debate each other.
And what are those qualifications?
Days. What are those qualifications?
I believe
there's an FEC.
I believe it's you have to have over $65,000 in donations.
Something
you have
like
to
that,
poll over 2% in 3 of the major polls.
Fundraising and polling, according to NBC News. Yeah.
And I think you have to have over 100,000 individual donors.
You have to have
something like that.
Provide evidence of at least 65,000 unique donors with a minimum of 200 different donors in at least 20 states.
There you go.
This is according to the reporting of Adam Edelman. Shout out to him.
Yeah, so what are you looking forward to in terms of the debates?
Well, we certainly have a handful of candidates that I think can definitely shake things up. I know you and I have talked about it off air about that particular handful. I think you've also got a lot of candidates that people just genuinely don't know of. And it seems like there's a good portion of them that are probably going to be mixed up. Because the thing is that unlike the presidential debates that we had in 2016, they're not going to do kind of a tier system thing where you had the more popular candidates in one debate and kind of kids. What was that?
Just a soundbite. Just continue.
Why you're not going to have a kids table debate? They're going to mix it up. So, for example, 2 of the candidates that you and I are paying close attention to, Bernie Sanders and Andrew Yang, might debate each other. And yet there's kind of a gap between the 2 of them when it comes to popularity.
Are you on drugs, Pete?
I'm just fucking around. But yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying. I think it's going to be interesting to see who they pit against each other, because it's like, okay, are you going to put people with the same sort of ideology and like sphere, or are you going to put polar opposites? Like, is it going to be a situation to where like, okay, all the same people that you're considering are like your top 4 are going to be in the same debate, or is it going to be like, oh, your top 4 are going to be spread out throughout the debates? If
I had to guess, it's probably going to be more like you're going to have a shakeup of that between the 2 debates. So say, for example, the top 4 people that I'm kind of looking at as major contenders, it's unfortunately kind of similar to just what everyone else is projecting. You have your Joe Biden, your Bernie Sanders, your, Elizabeth Warren, Beto O'Rourke, Pete Buttigieg. You're probably going to see a split. So basically, if there's now this is something that people are definitely looking at. If there's a debate that has Biden, Bernie, and 8 other people that are possibly nobodies, maybe someone who's on the fringe of the interest scale, like Andrew Yang.
I'm thinking
it
like
could help build up the people that are less recognizable.
In the world of sports, like I'm thinking about it like, okay, is it going to be like, a 1 seed, a 8 seed, a 12 seed, and a 16 seed, or is it going to be 1 through 4 and then 5 through 8 and then 9 through 12 and then
like the
13 through 16,
like the tier thing I was just mentioning?
Yeah.
It's going to be a mix-up. So
No. I know what you're saying, but I'm just saying, like, because, like, how do you really gauge that mix-up, right?
Well, that's the thing is I think...
Because, like, in the world of sports, it would be like, win-loss, but essentially you don't really have that in this situation. So somebody at the top is going to be making those fields a gatekeeper, and it's like, how are they gonna frame that? Is it a situation?
Like
is it a situation where it's gonna be like you said, Yang and Bernie Sanders? Are they gonna kind of like go at each other and kind of cannibalize each other to where it's like, okay, their followers might fall in the same sphere and they might gain each other, and